Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Japaridze Tarot by Nino Japardze. Don't come for me if that pronunciation is not correct. I looked it up on Google, that's what it told me, so Japaridze it is. To me, I would say like Japaridze or something, but Japaridze is Japaridze, and you can see the title right there. You can see the box right here. You can see the back right here. It's a very, very beautifully done deck. This is not a new deck, and it wasn't new when I received it either. This was a gift from a good friend on Instagram, and I'll put her Instagram handle in the description below so you can follow her if you want. See here that the box is very nicely done. Got the guidebook right here, and the guidebook itself is very thick. It's got illustrated pictures there. It tells you the different meanings of the cards and stuff like that. Just very, very well done guidebook there. And the cards themselves are absolutely beautiful as well, and that's why I wanted to share it with you today. You've got the little title card right here. You can see the backgrounds right there on it. And this card as well, that tells you the different meanings of the cards, because this deck is not set up necessarily like the Rider-Waite-Smith. It actually relates more to the Marseille, because the 11 and the 8 have switched places. This deck has 8 as Justice and 11 as Strength, 11 as Strength. You can see here the different names of the suits, and the traditional ones, Swords, Wands, Cups, and Pentacles, are now replaced with Winds, Fire, Tides, and Gardens. And the elements there, Air, Fire, Water, and Earth. So this might be a little bit confusing to the average beginner, but if you think about the elements corresponding to the different suits of the tarot, then it's not that hard at all, because, swords relate to air. When we think of air, we think of wind. And wands, that's the fire suit, and it says right there, it's the fire suit in here, so that's really easy to connect with our intuitions and know that one automatically. Cups relate to water, you can see there, and so that would be tides, because tides are the water that comes in. And gardens, perfect thing about earth, the beauty of nature and stuff like that, so that corresponds with the Queen's Pentacle suit very well as well. Now the court cards, a little bit more confusing too. We have Page as the jester, Knight as the stranger, Queen as a queen, she stays the same, and the King remains the same as well. So the Page and the Knight there, corresponding with the jester and stranger in this deck, that might be a little bit confusing, but once you work with the deck a little bit, beautiful deck, like I said, it's definitely not that hard to figure out. That's a lot of common sense, like I said, we think of swords, we think of air, we think of wind, examples like that. So very, very nicely done deck, and it's a little bit different. This is why I love collecting different decks, because it gives you different illustrations and stuff you might not have seen, or different meanings and different words you might not have thought of either. This will be a rather short and quick video, because I just want to share with you the different illustrations of this deck, and I'll leave a link in the description below of where you can purchase this deck for your own collection if it's something that calls to you as well. Like I said, it's one of the more beautiful decks in my collection. You can tell, you can tell from the illustration, like here on the box, it's hand painted, which is something that's rare these days, it seems, and it's just so beautifully done. As soon as I saw that this Instagram friend on Instagram was like, she says that she's cultivating her decks, like she gives them away a lot, so I don't know if she's doing that right now or not, but when she does and you like find them, like her sharing it, like last time I got a deck from her, it's not this one was a few years ago, all she wanted in return was empty phone boxes, because she likes to make deck boxes out of those. She's so creative. I love her energy. And so I got one of the decks for that. Another time I just like sent her tea and a candle and stuff like that, and she traded me a deck. I think that was the one I got for this one. But definitely just, she's so kind, and she just like does this because she like wants to downgrade her decks, like not have as many. I wish I had that kind of like thought process, but as I'm like looking at all my decks, no, I'm not willing to give any of them up yet. They each show different reasons why I have them, but we'll get right to it. We'll start with the Fool here. Now I did put these back in order, but they're not necessarily in the order that they talk about on here. They're in the order that I just set them up as. So we have the Fool, the beginning of the major arcana, followed by the Magician. Now that illustration, like I'll just keep talking about how absolutely gorgeous these illustrations are. The coloring of the Magician connects very well to the Priestess right here, the High Priestess. It's got those same shades of blues and golds, kind of showing the connection that those two cards have. And then the Empress, the creativity and creation itself card, has that green and yellow showing creativity and the ability to create things in our lives. War replaces the Emperor, and when you think of emperors, honestly, it's war, destruction, soldiers, that kind of thing, so that kind of makes sense there. Not one of the prettiest designs, but it's still like very, very informative. We have the Hierophant next, And then love, that replaces the lovers. And you can see all the energy coming through here. And the chariot. These illustrations, you know, you might like them, you might not. It might be your thing, it might not. But it's just abstract art. It's so beautiful to me, the way that they did the colors and stuff. Like I said, justice replaces strength as 8 here. And then the hermit would be 9. Followed by fortune, which is the wheel of fortune in many other decks. And there is strength we have as 11. Now, it gets kind of confusing, I suppose, if you're just a beginner and you have like the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and you're looking at that and you've got strength as 8 and justice as 11, and then you turn out and you get a Marseille style deck. Like even the Deviant Moon Tarot, which as you know is like one of my favorite decks. Well, actually it is my favorite deck of all time. That deck has it switched as well. Like strength is 11 and justice is 8. And it kind of can get confusing, but if you think of them as like cards that can go hand in hand, it's a lot easier. So we take the 11 here of strength, like being in that position. It's just having this inner strength to trust our intuitions and really embrace that inner high priestess we have within us. And that relates to the 2, because 11 reduces to 2, the major arcana. And with that 8 showing, representing justice, you know, there's that balance of the 2 fours, those 2 strong foundations, and really believing in ourselves enough to be fair to ourselves and believe we are worthy of justice. So they might be confusing for a while, but then once you think about them that way, you know, they can correspond with one another and be put like in either side. It definitely shows like how well those cards really correspond with one another. Moving on, we have the Drowned replacing the Hanged Man, which is a really cool illustration. Like the colors are amazing here, and it kind of shows like taking that time, like drowning ourselves in our emotions so we can really come back past them and, you know, begin a new path, and having that patience to take the time to look within. Death is next, followed by Temperance, then the Devil, followed by the Tower. It's such a negative card with such a beautiful illustration. Like the different workings of the coloring in there when she had all these decks like available she was giving away. This deck is the one that called to me the most because it's like I've never seen anything like it. There we have the Star, you know, her back's turned and she's naked, so it shows that vulnerability. We have the Moon, and then the Sun. Beautiful illustration again of the Sun. Yet another beautiful illustration of Judgment. And then this World. Like there's so much chaos in this picture, but it's so much, you just like look closely. You've got the deer here, you've got the sea creatures around, you've got just life in general, the world around us, and that illustration is just gorgeous. We have the Ace of Tides up next, which is the Suit of Cups, so it relates to water. The Two of Tides. The 3. The 4 of Tides. 5. That's a really, it's a deep meaning of this illustration of the 5 of Tides. You can see it here. You can see she looks very sad. She's around these like coffins and stuff, and she's mourning her loss. But instead of the cups that we usually see, she's pregnant with new life. So that kind of has that, you know, like the illustration of the Rider-Waite-Smith, where there's like 2 cups or 3 cups laying down with nothing in them anymore, and then 2 cups behind them, and they're not able to see it. So focusing on the sadness of what's been lost makes us unable to see what still remains. So she has this like hope and this new potential for the future if she's just able to stop looking at what she's lost. We have the 6 of Tides / 6 of Cups, the 7 of Cups, and all those choices that remain with it. The 8 of Cups. I love that dark and despairing like illustration of that. Like, this no longer brings me joy. I need to get away from this because it's just depressing me, and that just kind of shows like that energy of it. It's really beautiful. And we have the 9 of Tides, which is the wish card of the tarot. You can see there the falling star, the shooting star, and the little girl making a wish on it. The 10 of Tides. The Jester. Like I said, that is the Page of Tides. The Stranger is the Knight. And then we have the Queen and the King of Suit of Emotional Happiness and Fulfillment. Next up we have the Suit of Fire, which is also the Suit of Wands. Makes total sense. You have that diamond shape right there. Two of fire is the one we saw in the box. You know, remember that right there. So that's the same illustration there, the should I stay or should I go card. The three of fire, my favorite card of the tarot. We have the four of fire, which shows that maypole and the people dancing and celebrating around it, the strong foundation that they're passionate about. The five of fire, which shows conflict between two skeletons. The six, she's working her magic, she's playing her violin, the thing she's most passionate about, and the people were up there like celebrating her and like appreciating her work. We have the seven of fire, the eight, the nine of fire, the 10, the jester, the stranger, the queen, and the king. Now next up we have the ace of gardens, and it has that little diamond shape right there. So the aces are really cool in this deck because they're not like the Rider-Waite-Smith, they're things we're used to, but it shows that diamond and the potential that it holds and like all this like just beautiful energy of like whatever you want to make of it. And that's the thing about the aces. They don't necessarily have any tangible connections to them at the moment. They're ideas in our minds. So this kind of shows like you can create beauty when this card comes up, like hopefully it inspires you and it's like, what can I make of this? We have the two of the gardens / two of pentacles / two of coins. I mean, there's so many different like names for this one. The three of gardens, the four, the five of gardens. Card of feeling down on our luck and not knowing where to turn. You can see there, they're probably a beggar, a homeless person, you know, just taking a rest, and you know they'll go find help moving forward. The six of gardens, the seven, the eight of gardens, the nine of gardens, beautiful illustration of that financially successful individual, the 10 of gardens, the jester, the stranger, the queen, and the king of gardens. And that leaves us with the suit of the mind, the suit of swords, suit of air, and the suit of winds. The ace of winds is first. We see that bat in the middle of the diamond this time. The two of winds, the three, the four of winds. That illustration of the four of winds there, it really reminds me of like the four of cups of the Rider-Waite-Smith, because he is resting and reflecting, but you've got this beautiful stag behind him, the owl and the bat up there. So it kind of suggests, you know, as you're resting and reflecting, what are you missing out on? The five of winds is next. Beautiful illustration of that five of swords. The six of winds. The seven, the thief card of the tarot. The eight of winds, feeling trapped and prisoners of her own minds, and you can see there that she's trapped. The key, look very closely there, the key is in there. She's just able to look up and free herself from her own prison. The nine of winds, the 10, one of the most depressing cards of the tarot, because this is the I want to give up, I want to lay down and die, I don't have what it takes to keep going, my mind is working overtime against me. And yet this is one of the most beautiful illustrations of this card I've ever seen. Like the bats and everything are resting, the sun is like setting, and if you know that saying, pink sky night, sailor's delight, pink sky morning, sailor's warning, like this card shows hope and potential to me, because it looks like the sun is setting and there's that pink sky at night promising the better days are ahead. Then we have the jester of winds, also known as the page of swords, the stranger / knight of winds, the queen, and the king of winds. So that is a look at the Japaridze Tarot. See the box there and how awesome like it opens and stuff. But definitely a beautiful deck. Like I said, like when I saw it, I was like, oh yes, please give me this deck. That's the one I want. But you can see the backs there, very beautiful. You can't tell what's upright and reversed, which is very useful for those that like to read reversals, because you don't know if it's coming or not. It's definitely one of the decks in my collection that you are more than welcome to receive a reading from if it calls to you. Like I said, I will leave a link in this description below of where you can purchase this deck for your own collection if that's something that you want to do. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. when it comes to the ending, I'm always like so unsure of what to say at the end. So always I want to thank you for watching. Any of the decks in my collection, they are available for a reading with. You decide which one you want. You can ask me which decks I have. I'll be happy to do a personal reading for you. There's video ones, like I've shared on my channel before, of like, you know, like different video readings where you see those, or there's written out available as well if that's something that you prefer. My written ones are way more detailed than my video ones because it's just like when I type, I'm losing myself into the words and they're like really long. So if you want to do that, contact me, message me. You know, you can comment on this video, you can send me an email, you can message me on either of the socials, or you can book one directly on my website. All of that information will be available in the link below. I very much want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again in the next one.